Do you still want to play another remake every year? At this point, there's almost all Resident Evil games, Dead Space, Shadow of the Colossus, Demon Souls, Spyro the Dragon, and much, much more. To be honest, I got pretty excited about most of these remakes anyway, but let's understand 5 reasons why big companies keep remaking their old games. Hey guys, it's Harry. I've been a game designer and producer for the past 10 years, and in this channel, I want to talk all about game production. Alright, reason number 1, nostalgia. That's the easy one, right? Nostalgia is a universal effect. You played a game in your childhood and you loved it. Or maybe you didn't even love it. It was an okay game back in the day. But when 20 years later you play a remake of that game, your brain just sends you a message and sends you back to those fond memories of better and simpler times. So almost immediately you are interested and compelled to play a game like that. I mean, I wasn't even a fan of the Contra games back in the 80s and 90s, but when Konami announced Contra Operation Galuga this year, I had to at least take a look at it. I remember the time when that style of gameplay was the norm, and it's just cool to see that it's still alive today. I mean, the very arcadish style of Contra and Metal Slug. And on the other hand, I absolutely loved the original Dead Space game that came out in 2008. And when they announced the remake, I was very excited to play it. And by the way, it is fantastic. They nailed the game, and I had a blast playing it just as much as I did with the original. So what other games got you guys excited about when you first heard of the remake? Leave in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Okay, reason number 2. Remakes are a lower risk revenue stream. Because of that same nostalgia effect, it's easier to create a remake, get the word of mouth going, and create the hype, get people excited to play the game. That hype and marketing is even more crucial today than it was in the past. Discoverability is one of the big challenges for any production, even the big ones. Top companies have to put in more and more money each year just to make us aware of the game that they're making. Many times the marketing costs are equal or exceed the development costs. That means that marketing the game costs more than making the game, which is crazy. So if a remake can spread the word more easily to players about the game, you bet companies are gonna do just that. Of course, not every remake will guarantee adoption by players, but the beloved series of the past will always be a safer investment than a completely new one. That is why we see Luke and Darth Vader in every single corner of the galaxy in Star Wars, being movies, TV shows, or games. Reason number 3. Remakes are easier to produce in several aspects. A game is created in many steps, from the initial ideas and scripts, through prototypes and the final levels and narrative. A remake means that you pretty much know the plot, you have the characters, you have the level composition, the gameplay loop, the bosses, almost everything. Of course, remaking a game from 20 years ago means that you have to create all of the models from scratch. It's not like you can use the models from the PlayStation 2 era, right? Remember how Lara Croft used to look back in the day? But still, the early phase of production, called the pre-production, benefits a lot from having all of those assets and content from the original game. When you would spend a lot of time and effort deciding what characters to create, all of that is already known, and you have to take the time to understand how those characters should look in today's standards, like modernizing them. For example, Final Fantasy VII Remake had to do a lot of work understanding how the characters should look and move and behave today compared to the original title, but they are still the same characters. They even appeared in other media. Final Fantasy VII had a movie in 2005 called Advent Children, so we already have expectations on how those characters should look and move. And just for you to see how powerful nostalgia can be, I cannot even talk about Final Fantasy without getting excited about it. It was such an impactful game in my childhood. Oh, and if I can make a personal request in this video, Square, please consider Final Fantasy Tactics for a remake. Oh my god, it's such an incredible game. Come on, we need a remake. I can help you. No? Please? Reason number 4. There's a much larger audience today than 20 years ago. Consider that. You released a game in 2003 or even a bit later, and it was great, people loved it, and it sold really well. But in the 2000s, the global revenue from games was close to $50 billion a year, while today we are already reaching the $350 billion mark. That's a lot of money. That means that if your successful game was to be released today as a remake, it had the potential to reach a lot more people and sell even more copies than the original. We can take Demon Souls, for example. The original game released in 2009 and it sold over 1 million copies, while the 2020 remake already sold over 1.4 million copies and it can still sell more over the years. Not only that, but today companies have even more potential to continue releasing more content for the game, like DLCs or special characters and items inside the game, and continue to sell. That is yet another reason why remakes continue to be interesting and profitable for game companies. And then we come to reason number 5. Remakes help keep franchises alive and relevant. If the publishers continue to release good games with the franchises they already have, these games will continue to grow and attract more attention from players. Of course, a good sequel would also do the trick, but as we saw, remakes can go a long way in reducing risk and production costs. A sequel requires a lot of effort in creating new stories, new characters, mechanics, entire new maps, and that's a lot more riskier than remakes can be. Also, younger players might never have played the original Demon Souls in 2009, or worse yet, the original Resident Evil 2 in 1998. So Resident Evil Remake in 2019 was certainly the first contact of a lot of younger players with the franchise. And from there, they might become interested in playing other Resident Evil games. Alright, we went over several reasons why companies keep creating remakes. But should they? Well, to be honest, I think they should. I think companies should continue creating high quality, faithful remakes of the games that we love, and I'm eager to play a lot of them. Apparently, there's a new Metal Gear Solid remake on the way, and I love that. I can't wait to play it. But naturally, we don't want to be overwhelmed by remakes all the time. It goes old, right? It's like getting a dozen superhero movies every year. I mean, I love superheroes, but I am taking a break from Marvel at this point, right? And I know I'm not the only one. But what do you think? Are you excited about having more remakes on the way? Or do you think the industry needs some fresh blood and new ideas? Let me know your comments below. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to upload consistently at least once a week. That's it. See you guys.